My first job as dorm mother. That is, to make breakfast for the boarders. Really? That was a sentence?
Aoi-kun, 料理上手だね。おかわり。
Sure, a big bowl, right?
わかってるね。
I'm pretty confident in my cooking. Until recently, I was living with my father, who was ordered to transfer to the country, and every day I helped with the housework. I was in charge of preparing the meals, and it's not like I hated cooking or anything. It's one of the reasons why I accepted the job as dorm mother. So the others don't need breakfast, huh? Since just now no one has come into the dining hall. Sometimes there would be someone walking through the hallway in front, but they seemed to be sneaking around. Kaneko looked toward the hallway just as the oldest boarder, Yuka, was peeking in before swiftly dashing off.
もう、みんなオフだからね。男の子に免疫がないのよ。
But Keifu is a co-ed school, right?
いくら学校で同じでも、寝起きの緩み切ったすっぴんが見られちゃうわけじゃないからね。
I see. Seems like a guy being the dorm mother of a girls' dormitory will have its problems after all. There is a reason why I accepted the job as dorm mother at Flying Fish Manor. Not long ago, the young janitor collapsed. Sounds like she's pretty old as well as straining her back, so she caught a summer cold which became aggravated. The owner soon began looking for a replacement, but it was hard to find one. Then she sought help from the real estate company where my mother works. This is one of the properties that my mom manages, and she is an old acquaintance of the owner from decades ago. She nominated me for this job, just as I was planning to come back here. On the documents, my mom is the one responsible for this place, but she got me to carry out the practical duties, in other words, the work of the dorm mother. Then that became the condition for me coming back to this town. As always, she's very crafty, but I wasn't really against the idea, so I accepted. If I'd known it was a girls' dormitory, of course, I would have refused. This place is old, a little far from the school, but the rent is cheap. Apart from the food and the admin expenses, it costs next to nothing. That's why it would be a big problem for me if I couldn't stay here. And if, in the worst case scenario, the boarders wouldn't be able to go to school. So for now it seems that everyone has accepted the guy as the dorm mother. Kaneko stacked up the dishes on the counter and licked her lips in satisfaction. She had eaten it all. Not even a single grain of rice was left. To have people enjoy my cooking feels pretty good. I felt deeply relieved. I'm happy that things are going well. Oh geez, I better get ready for school. In the entrance of the dormitory, there was Katori. She was dressed in her uniform and looked like she was about to go to school. Morning, Katori. Are you going to school? Shall we go together? Why? Well... She put it bluntly as she quickly went out the front door. I don't have any friends at school, so I was just asking. Looked like we had a strange misunderstanding. Wearing my new uniform, I make my way to school. I'm a dorm mother, but also a student of Keifu Academy. I mean, this is my real occupation. Today is the first day at my new school. Not really the shy type, but I guess I am kind of nervous. I would say that the school I was going into before was a sports-focused all-boys school. Keifu Academy, the school I'll be going to now, is an engineering school, and a co-ed. And the school traditions are quite different too. As I walk in the streets that lead to school, there are more and more groups of people wearing the same uniform. This is the same area in which I lived 5 years ago. There should be a few people that I know, but most of the people I recognize went on to regular schools. I wonder if the ones who chose to go to Keifu Academy remember me. Even if I only know one person, it would make a big difference. There will be more weird misunderstandings with Miss Alul too. Oh yeah, which school did Ageha and the others go to? I don't know who Ageha is. Oh, they're my childhood friends who I always played with when I was a kid. There's Ageha, Mabo, Hotaru, and Anchan. After that group, Ageha and Mabo are the same ages as me, but we haven't met in 5 years and haven't really stayed in touch. We just about managed to exchange New Year's cards, but that reminds me, in the corner of last year's New Year's card, I think there was some small message about which school they were planning to go to. What did it say? A lot of things happened, or maybe I'm just lazy, but I haven't told anyone apart from Anchan that I'm coming back. To be honest, I'm not even sure how I should be if I met them. With the ones like Ageha, she'd probably smash my face in. She'd say, "Why didn't you contact me?" or something. She looked and acted like a real tomboy. When I remember the past, it makes me smile, but... Oh? Hello? At the point where Toe Street leading into the school met, there was a girl wearing a keifu uniform standing there, looking towards me. The other girl said she was walking to school with, asked what's up, and seemed puzzled when they spoke to her. However, it seems that the girl can't hear them as she's staring over here at me. Just faintly, her eyes seemed full of surprise. She's pretty cute. Without realizing, I stopped walking and was staring at the girl. Until a few days ago, I was going to an all-boys school. The sight of a girl on the way to school, in her uniform, she was pretty cute too. Causing me to get palpitations is perfectly reasonable.
もしかして、葵?
Yeah, it is. Suddenly having someone call me by my name in such a carefree manner made me feel a little nervous. Who is it? There, she said my name again, and she has such a happy expression on her face. Do I know any girls this cute? Is it okay how the tomboy I was just, like, trash talking? No, wait, I've seen this face before. When she smiles like this and her eyes sparkle like a little kid's. Is that you, Ageha?
もしかしなくてもアゲハよ。忘れちゃったの？私の顔。
She asked as she briskly moved closer, bringing her face right up to mine. It's definitely Ageha. She's changed a lot, but if I just look at her face, there's no doubt that it's her. Is it really that Ageha?
しつこいな。他にどのアゲハがいるってのよ。正真正銘、本物の姫木アゲハです。
What is it? What is it? The other girls said the other girls as they gathered round in a circle. Ageha turned to face them and introduced me.
この子、水瀬葵くん。転校生よ。サッチンは覚えてるよね。
Sachin replied, "No way, Aoi," as she warmly raised her voice in surprise. When we were in 4th grade of elementary school, we were in the same class once. Okay.
私と葵は幼馴染なの。昔ここに住んでたんだけど、転校してっちゃったのよね。
The girls seemed impressed by Ageha's explanation as they looked at me with eyes full of expectation. Nice to meet you. I'm Aoi Minase. In front of these girls in their uniforms, I greeted them with a stern look on my face as I tried to hide my embarrassment. Ageha laughed as she looked on with relish. I never thought I would find myself doing introductions in the street on my way to school like this, so I was totally unprepared. I'll say it again. Let me do it again. I could hear Miss Alul's word in the back of my mind.
背伸びたわね。最初誰かわかんなかったわ。
As she spoke, Ageha was moving her hands around my head to show the difference in height between myself and her. Our bodies were making contact, but she either didn't notice or she didn't really mind. I flinched slightly, but the fact that she was so unreserved actually made me feel more comfortable.
昔は私といい勝負だったのに。男の子はずるいな。
Speaking of which, you've changed too. Sorry, that's my chair.
そう？
As she said, "You think so?" She looked at herself. Yeah, you always looked like a boy, so I was surprised to see that you became a girl. You were gonna get punched in the face. Those were my honest thoughts, but I said them in a way that sounded weird. Thought she might find it slightly charming, but...
ぬふふん。どうだ、いい女になっただろう。
Agaya laughed happily and did a little turn on the spot. The force of her spin made her skirt float around gently. Yeah, it's like you're not really a Agaya. All days not really thinking, those thoughts just kind of slipped out.
イエーイ、やったね。
Agaya was pleasured. Wow, pleased, and did high fives with her friends. Seeing her in high spirits like that was just like old times. Agaya, my best friend during my childhood, hadn't changed in the 5 years that had passed. Her appearance was surprising, though. Okay, so I know a person. The lessons on my first day at my new school flew by in the blink of an eye. Between the language and social studies lessons taught in regular schools were those from a specialist curriculum. I was still in the 2nd grade, so there aren't that many, but it looks like when you get into the 3rd and 4th grades, the number of these specialist lessons increases. By the way, this is a 5-year school. That's why when walking the hallways, this kind of thing happens. What kind of things? Hey, she's pretty. Coming from an all-boys school with its sad customs, I couldn't help my eyes from following the girls as I walked past them.
ほほん。早速女子のチェックですか？
No, that's not it. I just thought that they looked really grown up, that's all.
4年か5年の先輩じゃないかな。
At our age, a gap of 3 or 4 years is pretty big. The students in the upper grades look very mature.
それにね、うちってこの手の専門学校にしては女子の比率が多いんだよ。
Why is that? Without thinking, I took an interest in that, and Agaya looked at me as if she wanted to call me a pervert.
校舎の建て替えと同時期に女子生徒の受け入れを強化したんだって。
I'd heard about that before. It transferred. They increased the number of courses for girls and asked famous designers to make the designs for a new building. It had been said thanks to that the ratio of boys and girls is about 50-50, which is one of the selling points of the school. Bearing this in mind, I felt uneasy about choosing this school as the one I would transfer to, because I'd like people to think that it can't be helped because I'm from an all-boys school. By the way, it's now lunchtime. Agaya is in the middle of giving me a guided tour of the school building. Yeah, but this is an amazing school. The school itself is pretty old. Due to being a special kind of school, of course, it's famous in the local area. I've known about it too since I was a little kid. The school building has been rebuilt over the last few years, with the renovations divided into several stages, the last of which was completed just 1 year ago. It's said that is because of the famous designers. The design uses many curved lines, so the appearance is far removed from what generally is associated with the word school. It felt like I had entered some kind of sci-fi setting.
設備も最高だよ。冷暖房完備、完全バリアフリーで、どんな人も安心して学校生活が送れます。
Disabled access. That's right, Miss Katori should be somewhere in this school.
でもさ、葵、ほんと変わったよね。
Agaya, she walked by my side, was happily murmuring as she looked at my face.
顔とか、昔はもっと可愛らしかったのに、なんかゴツゴツしちゃってさ。
Yeah, same to you.
ひどっ、私ゴツゴツなんてしてないもん。
Yeah, she knew that when we met on the way to school earlier. I thought she's pretty cute. She'd never let it go, so I better keep quiet.
あんちゃんから聞いてなかったら気づかなかったわよ。
You heard it from Anchan?
そう、葵が帰ってくるってね。
By the way, I'm in the same class as Agaya. She knew that I might be coming as a transfer student, which is why she wasn't that surprised by our chance meeting this morning.
あんたね、帰ってくるなら連絡くらいよこしなさいよね。
Sorry. The reason why we call him Anchan isn't because he's like an older brother. isn't because he's like an older brother type guy. Aniki equals older guy, like a big brother. He was our childhood friend, but he was much older than us, so we nicknamed him Anja. He's not related by blood, and he's just like a real big brother. Ageha glared at me and said geez as I tried to laugh it off.
昔の私ならアックスボンバーかましてるところよ。
That's a scary thing. She isn't able to move. She wouldn't really have hit me. Sorry, my foot is asleep. Ow. Okay. She wouldn't really have hit me. As we talked, we went back to the classroom. The classrooms weren't exactly normal either. I feel a little uneasy taking lessons here, but maybe I'll get used to it sometime soon. By the way, there's a girl in the wheelchair in this school, right? Miss Alul. No, I mean, she's called Katori Habane. I asked Ageha as we returned to our seats. Didn't ask what grade she was in, but even if it's not the same, I thought Ageha would at least be aware of her. Ageha reacted like she was being evasive. It wasn't just Ageha, but the other people sitting nearby who had heard our conversation also seemed kind of awkward.
ハバネさんならうちのクラスだよ。今日は来てないみたいだけど。
After Ageha said that, someone added, you mean today either, don't you? By the way she said that, she seemed quite harsh. That can't be, I mean, I thought about explaining that she had left the dormitory this morning in her uniform, but I held my tongue. The atmosphere was kind of strange.
ここんとこずっと休んでるんだ。体調が良くないみたいでさ。
Not feeling well. Yesterday she had went out to the Windmill Hill, and later she was chasing that duck around the halls of the dormitory. And this morning she left wearing her uniform. Is she skipping school? Yes. Yes is the answer. However, more worrying than what Katori is up to is the reaction of the others in the class when they heard us talking about her. Even Ageha looked like she had something she wanted to say but couldn't. I don't really know what the situation is, so I can't really say anything.
Oi, Yamamoto! 英語の辞書を貸してくんね?
As the awkwardness started to fade, an optimistic voice called out. From the entrance of the classroom, a carefree-looking guy poked his head in and started speaking to a boy in our class.
お、ちょうどいいところに。おーい、マーボー。
だよ、アゲハ。なんか用か?
The guy known as Mabo, came into the classroom.
お前と仲良くしてっとエリちゃんのご機嫌が悪くなんだよ。あれってやっぱジェラシーってやつだよな。
いいからこっち来い。
お、誰これ？転校生？アゲハは見た目結構可愛いけど中身男だから気をつけろ。
Ageha and I both looked blankly at him for a moment.
なんで?
Long time no see, Mabo.
は?
Why is this transfer student being so buddy-buddy with me? His face seemed to say. It's me, have you forgotten me?
俺だよって。え？お前、葵?
I looked at Ageha, and she wanted to surprise him, so it seems like she intentionally didn't tell him. The slightly superficial guys, oh my gosh, Matsutsugu Tasaki, or Mabo, as we call him, is our childhood friend.
なんで葵がここにいるんだよ。てか転校生って？え？
あんた驚きすぎ。
そりゃ驚くって。
You seem well, Mabo. You've grown pretty big. Masatsugu used to be really small, but now he was about the same size as me. It's not quite like the change in Ageha, but in the 5 years that have passed since we were kids, it looks like he's grown to be about twice the size.
お前こそ。
We grabbed each other by the right hand. This was instead of a small, quiet greeting.
本当に葵なのかよ。
I'm back, Mabo.
おかえり。葵!
This time, bam, he gave me a full-on hug. Hey.
熱い友情ってやつだね。
We were the only ones who thought so. whereas all the girls around us were totally freaked out.
会いたかったよ。あ、
What?
じゃねえよこの裏切り者。
What? Mabu suddenly backed off and thrusted his finger at the end of my nose. What is this all of a sudden?
いきなり出て行ったと思ったらろくに連絡もよこさねえで。俺やアゲハがどんな思いでいたかてめえ知ってるのか。
いやいや、勝手に私を巻き添えにするな。
そのくせよくものこのこと。
Sorry, but this is not my fault that I had to move away. If you want to complain, say it to my dad. I thought about writing a letter, but I felt kind of embarrassed. For the most part, the fact that there was no contact was both our faults.
この裏切り者め、俺は絶対許さないかんな。お前なんか嫌いだ。バカバカ。
With saliva flying out of his mouth as he emphasized the words, Mabo forgot all about borrowing the English dictionary and he stormed out of the classroom.
子供かい。
It wasn't just us, but everyone in the classroom was shocked.
こうなると思って教えてなかったんだけどね。知ってたらあいつ最初から全開であんな感じだっただろうから。
I think that was the correct decision. I want to say thank you. Even so, he did seem really upset about it.
あいつ最近彼女ができて調子ついてんのよ。小さい頃は「葵、アゲハ待ってよ」とか言って
Oops.
大丈夫、すぐ元通りになるって。だってあいつ葵大好きっ子だもん。
Don't say it like that, it sounds weird.
そう可愛いじゃない。
While we carried on talking, the bell to mark the end of lunchtime sounded. Everyone put away their lunchboxes and got ready for the next lesson. Agehe went back to her seat. She stopped halfway, then walked back. What's up? Agehe seemed concerned about those around us and lowered her voice.
なんでハバネさんのこと知ってるのかなって。
Well, the truth is, my mom asked me to be the dorm mother of a student dormitory. I lowered my voice so that those around us couldn't hear.
寮の管理人？
Katori is boarding there.
そうなんだ。
My mom asked to take good care of Katori. Even if she hadn't, I'd be worried about her anyway. As she listened to my explanation, I thought it over. Her expression darkened somehow.
このまま来なくなるんじゃないかってみんな心配してる。あんまり学校が楽しくないみたいなんだ。
It looked as if she was saying I can't believe she doesn't enjoy school. You seem to enjoy it.
私？もちろんだよ。だって楽しいじゃない学校。
I guess. It was still my first day at a new school, but I was enjoying it quite a lot too.
そっか。そうなんだ。
Whether or not she was convinced by my story, Agehe mumbled something or other as she returned to her seat. So it looks like we need to talk to Katori about her skipping after school. I was alone and was wandering around the school building. This was so that I could take a look at some of the club activities. Film studies, theater club, there's even an RC club. This is, after all, a specialist school. Looking at the playing field from the window and the heat outside, I saw the sports clubs practicing. Compared to my school, it's pretty calm. The sports club at the school I used to go to were taken so seriously. The sight of training before a match was one of grueling harshness. Wait, what do I mean my school? I'm a student of this school now. I'll go take a look. I went down next to the playing field to watch the sports club practicing. Before long, I started to feel a little down, so I left. The doctor said that if it's a light exercise, it shouldn't be a problem. Huh? Oh, did I have like a biking accident or something? Tried stamping down strongly with my right foot, and there isn't really any discomfort. There is the baseball club, which was returning through from the off-campus running course, entered through the school gates.
あ、Minase! お前、Minase だろ?
The one calling me was an old acquaintance. It's you, Taguchi. It's been a long
お
time.
前、帰ってきたんだってな。もう部活は決めたのか?
No, not yet. I'm going around taking a look now.
野球部入れよ。お前ならすぐレギュラーなれるぞ。
When I was a kid, I'd often play baseball in the park. Some of the guys in the group were my teammates, or on another team were in the same baseball team. I'll think about it. casually responded, and the baseball team members replied, "Come on, join us, seriously," as they returned to the playing field. If I could do physical activities, baseball, in fact anything would be okay. As I grumbled to myself, I felt that I didn't want to go back to the playing field, so I entered the path leading to the back of school. I spent a while walking around the back of the school. It was called the rear garden, but it looked like it hadn't been taken care of at all, and was just an empty space with weeds growing everywhere. In that empty space there was a garage. Ooh. Hello? I'm coming in. Looks like no one's here, but I thought I should say something to let them know just in case. Is this place used for club activities too? Or is it used for lessons? I don't know what they're used for, but there were too many tools and parts crammed on the shelves that cover the walls. Oh, it's a glider. And there in the center, a huge object covered with a sheet. The feelings that had washed over me like a wave when I watched the sports club strangely subside from being here. The tools that the dimly lit garage must have reminded me of the times where I would tinker with my bicycle. What is this used for? Conceal the sound of my footsteps as I sneak into the garage. It's pretty spacious. There's a tea set here too. There was no doubt about it, someone was using this place. You get a strange sense of activity. I guess it must be one of the clubs. Whoa. There is someone here. I was so surprised it felt like my heart was going to jump out. The person over there seemed not to have noticed me at all. Not sure if you could call it a drawing board, but she stared at the plans that were placed there, and she was kind of groaning. I'm sorry for letting myself in here, but I'll be going now. Alright. It's no good, she didn't hear me. Her eyes were so serious as she stared at the plans, and it looked like she was really concentrating. I didn't know what to do, so I just looked at her from the side. That was not the best choice. Now that I look closely, she's really beautiful. Why am I staring at her? That's what I'm saying. I hurriedly look away. However, it looks as if she still hasn't noticed me, so I take another glimpse. She looks quite mature. Is she in the 5th grade? She's so pretty. Katori is pretty too, but this person is different, and has a mysterious charm. Did she notice? Foosh. She suddenly stood up. No, I'm sorry. Without thinking, I avert my eyes and apologize, but she's looking straight. Past me and grabs a big thick book from the shelf.
やっぱりそうか。
She flicked through the pages and looked like she had found something before going straight back to her seat. In good spirits, she began swiftly drawing the plans. The pen made a nice swoosh swoosh sound as it ran across the page. The feeling of maturity that she had just until now suddenly changed. When she smiles, all of a sudden she looks more like a kid. As her eyes look straight at the plans, they look as though they have a crystal clear purity to them. Just like an innocent child, her eyes looked as though she believed the world is full of wonderful, sparkling things.
これでよしと。
Her hand stopped moving. I got the timing right. Excuse me. She finally noticed me.
いや、こんにちは。
Even though I'd unexpectedly appeared like that, she didn't show any signs of caution. Still in good spirits, she smiled as she greeted me. Hi. Thought I should say something to her, but I didn't think of what to say after that.
どうかしたのかい？
I'm sorry, that I just let myself in here. I just transferred here today, but I was taking a look at club activities and I got lost and came here. Got a little carried away and said more than I needed to, but she didn't seem interested at all. She looked at me as if to say yes and...
勝手に入ってくれて構わないぞ。
It seemed like kind of a blunt way to say it, but she wasn't angry or anything. It's such a strange way of speaking. Well, I'm sorry. I'd better go. Okay. As I said that, like a total loser, a huge sound echoed out around the garage. What was that noise?
ああ、お腹すいた。
With a lack of energy in her voice, the beautiful girl before me held her stomach and fell down onto the drawing board. Was that the sound of your stomach just now? We're inside the garage, so the sound echoed like crazy and sounded like the growl of a monster.
空腹だったことを体が思い出してしまったらしいぞ。
She seemed to sway as she tried to get up, but she didn't have enough energy, so she slumped back down with her cheek on the drawing board. Would you like to eat this? I took some bread out of my bag. Although I'd get hungry with just a lunchbox, so at lunchtime. I thought I'd get hungry with just a lunchbox, so at lunchtime I bought some melon bread. Her eyes shone as if they were an explorer who discovered treasure in a cave in some unexplored place.
いいのか？
Go ahead.
ありがとう。
She took the melon bread, opened the wrapper immediately, and bit into the contents. She was getting crumbs everywhere, but really looked like she was enjoying it as she devoured it greedily.
おいしい、おいしい。久しぶりのカロリー摂取だ。
Could that be because she's poor? The fact that she was so ecstatic over something like melon bread actually made me quite worried. She didn't show any signs that she was thinking of my generosity and just ate up the high-calorie melon bread.
おいしかった。
She murmured happily, looking happy as can be. She looked like she was mulling over the taste of the melon bread in her brain.
脳に糖分が染み渡る。
She said as she turned back to the drawing board and continued working. Then she started drawing the plans again with incredible energy. From the serious look on her face, it seemed that she had already forgotten about me. She's strange. Not just a little, but very strange. Okay, well, I'll be off now. Yeah. Perhaps she didn't hear me. No, she did. Just keep going. I put the melon bread wrapper that she had left behind in my pocket and turned to leave. I reluctantly left the special atmosphere of the garage behind me. Well then, maybe I should head back. By the time I finished watching the various clubs, the sky was orange and the sun was setting.
あ、いた。
Agaya was at the school gates. Agaya looks towards me and points the cell phone she's holding at me.
まだ残ってたら一緒に帰ろうと思って何回もかけたのにちっとも出ないんだもん。
I told Agaya that I would take a look at the club activities before leaving.
着信履歴見てみ。
I left it at the dormitory.
はあ？なんで？それじゃ携帯の意味ないじゃん。
Doesn't it say in the school rules that you can't bring cell phones to school?
そうだけど、そんなの守ってる子いないよ。
It's alright if you don't get caught, it seems. In my case, I'm not so worried about the school rules that it's just too bothersome to carry a cell phone around with me.
せっかく番号教えてもらったのに、これじゃ意味なしだよ。
How did you know my number? 5 years ago when I left Kazagura, I was still just a kid, so I didn't have a cell phone.
さっきあんちゃんから聞いた。メアドも送ってもらったから、これからバンバンメールするね。
What? Don't bother, it's too much a hassle. Writing text on a cell phone is too fiddly, which is a real pain, so I don't really like it. It looks like Agaya isn't listening to me and started walking on ahead.
じゃあ帰ろっか。どうだった？転校初日は。
Seems like an interesting school. It was different to the sports schools or regular schools and had a special kind of atmosphere. Everyone looks like they enjoy it and it's, how should I say, like they came here to hang out.
それは言えてるかも。みんなやりたいことがあって来てるからね。
Things that they want to do.
入りたい部活は見つかった？
I don't know. There were a few that seemed interesting though.
うち運動部はあんまり盛んじゃないから、葵には物足りないかもね。
What do you do, Ageha?
私はロボット部。ロボット作ってコンクールに出るの。
Robots? That sounds interesting too.
葵だったらいつでも大歓迎だよ。
Yeah, I'll think about it.
それじゃあ私こっちだから。
Huh? Isn't your place around here?
ああ、引っ越したんだ。風見商店街が再開発でなくなったのを知らないの？
No way, seriously?
でっかいショッピングモールができたの。うちの店もそこに入ってるんだよ。また休みの日にでも案内してあげるよ。じゃ、また明日ね。
Ah, hey.
何？
Thanks for everything today.
いいっていいって。今度パフェでもおごってくれたらそれで十分。
No, I mean... that you were the same way towards me as in the past.
ああ、うん。
That was a big help.
私も葵が見た目以外変わってなくてよかった。あ、見た目もそんなに悪くないよ。極秘情報をリークするとね、今日だけでいろんな子から葵の携帯番号を聞かれたし。
Seriously?
訂正。スケベになったね、葵。
So what? I didn't have that kind of thing at an all-boys school.
まあ健全な男子である証拠か。しばらく会わないうちに大人になっちゃったんだね。
Ageha looked happily as she said that. So have you. To be honest, I thought she would have grown up to be more rough and tomboyish.
だね。
Ageha started smiling quietly. Looking at that innocent smile reminded me of how Ageha was when she was still just a kid.
おかえりなさい、葵。
Yeah.
また明日からよろしくな、相棒。
Bam. Ouch. She gave me a great big slap on the back.
じゃあね。
Ageha gave me a big wave and turned the corner. Ouch, you doofus. Good insult. She might have gotten a little cuter, but she hadn't really changed on the inside. Welcome back, huh? Her attitude hadn't really changed since before, and somehow I felt that it had saved me. Is it Hat? I heard quacking. After Ageha and I went our separate ways, I did the shopping for dinner on the way back. It's gonna be hot again tomorrow, so I have to give them food that will give them some stamina. Enthusiastically, I put the menu together in my head. Oh no, I forgot to buy milk. There was a convenience store right in front of me. 5 years ago, there was a tobacconist here. It's a little expensive, but I don't have time to go back to the supermarket. Thought to myself. The automatic doors opened and the one with the self-proclaimed cool allure left the shop. She had a bag on her lap and she had a smile on her face which was the exact opposite of cool. She didn't notice me and went back to the direction of the dormitory. It's her. She didn't go to school, so what is she doing? I gave up on buying milk and followed Katori. When she got back to the dormitory, Katori opened the front door just slightly.
ハト、ハト。
She called Hat from the other side of the door and spoke to him about something. She was sneaking around and seemed really suspicious.
あいつがいないか見てきて。ほら、あいつよ。あの意地悪な男子。
Is she talking about me? Yes. Yes, she is. This is the girls' dormitory, so I'm the only boy here. I don't remember being mean, though. I don't know why, but it would appear as though she's sneaking around to avoid being found by me. Is that how you feel? I headed for the back door to the dormitory. I'll hide in the kitchen for now.
わわ
Oh, you found me. Shh. If this is about me, tell her I'm not here.
わ。
I get that he got the message, but wiggled his butt as he left the dining hall and headed for the entrance. While I'm waiting in ambush, I'll put the food I bought in the fridge. After a little while. Looks like he's not here.
よしよし。
When Katori came in the dining hall, she went straight for the cupboard and took out a spoon. Without taking out a dish, she stayed seated in her wheelchair. She put the shopping bag from the convenience store on the table. Inside was Häagen-Dazs? Häagen-Dazs? Is it ice cream? Needless to say, it was top quality ice cream. Not only that, it was the family size. Wow. It's the big pot that cost 2,500 yen. She opened the lid in her right hand. She opened the lid, and in her right hand she had the wide spoon that you'd be eating things like curry with.
やるわよ、ついに。わかん。
Katori's spoon was still above the smooth surface of the Häagen-Dazs. Then she dug a big hole in it. One big scoop like that would be about 100 yen. And she stuffed the whole thing in one mouthful. Oh, that is a garage door. I apologize. She brought her hands to her cheek, as though she was flooded in happiness from the bottom of her heart. What is she doing? Seeing what she was doing made hiding and watching her seem pretty ridiculous. Without knowing I was watching, Katori began to shovel in more ice cream like a construction machine. Even if it was only a 105 yen ice cream, you'd savor the flavor more than that. With the next mouthful of ice cream, Katori suddenly lowered her head, holding her temples. There's the garage again. To be able to get a brain freeze from eating too much Häagen-Dazs is the very height of luxury. During this little pause, Katori opened up her notebook. There's something written there. Sneak up a little closer behind her. You're gonna get cracked at. Shh. Next to the words, "Eat as much Häagen-Dazs as I want," Katori happily wrote the word "done." Seemed to be some sort of list. Things I want to do? It was the title, and there was bullet points below. Stroke the head of a big dog in the neighborhood. It's really scary, but it might be unexpectedly friendly. If possible, I'd like to ride around on its back. Fill the bath with water and swim in it like a pool. Pie throwing. And so on. Among those was, go and see Windmill Hill. With done written next to it. What is this? Whoa! Katori's scream pierced from my right ear and out my left. I was here before you were. Her mouth was open in shock as she looked at Hat. Well, I guess it's no good sending a deck to scout out this place. Even if he was able to completely grasp what his responsibility was, there was no way he could convey the message. Katori seemed ashamed and looked away. I'm sorry I surprised you. You were sneaking around, so I wondered what you were doing. I didn't mean to spoil our personal enjoyment. I went back to the kitchen to get things ready for dinner. Katori's face seemed to say now it only tastes half as good as she sulkily ate the ice cream. Why are you taking time off school? She's blatantly lying. Would someone who caught a cold be eating ice cream? I'm the dorm mother, you know. I have to make sure the boarding students have the right kind of lifestyle. Swoosh. She went to the trouble of turning around so that she could point at me. If you want to call me dorm father, then that's fine by me. Katori turned back and went back to enjoying her ice cream. If you weren't at school, then where were you? I softened my tone a little as I asked her. Did you go back to the Windmill Hill? She's ignoring me and eating her ice cream. It has got something to do with me. Well, I don't mean that. Yesterday, if I hadn't been passing by, where would you be right now? If you're not careful in a place like that, then maybe nobody would have come. If you can't move your wheelchair, what would you have done by yourself?
それは
Do you still think it's got nothing to do with me? I'm not accusing her of anything. That's why I tried to speak as gently as possible, so as to not sound too harsh. However, I showed her how serious I was.
だからお礼言ったでしょ。この私がお礼言うなんてすごく珍しいことなんだから。本当よ。オオサンショウウオくらい希少なのよ。逆に感謝してほしいくらいだわ。
Are you proud of that? If you think that people would be more happy because it's so rare, you're severely mistaken. Katori seemed daunted by this sound argument, but put down the spoon and started thinking seriously.
でも私こんなだから何もできない。アイス食べる？高いやつよ。
No, I don't. Sounded a little mean, so Katori became tearful all of a sudden. Her cheeks were quivering as she desperately tried to hold back the tears. Hey, I'm sorry, I was just joking. Don't make that face.
別に普通だもん。
That's right. See, you're fine. Hat quacked as though he was trying to cheer Katori up. I wouldn't tell you to say thank you, would I? It's just that if you go out without telling anyone where you're going, it's kind of dangerous, you know? She wiped the corner of her eye with a little with her finger.
わかるけどわかりたくない。わかるわけにはいかないの。
Somehow that's what the look on her face said. She put the spoon down and went to leave the dining hall. Where are you going?
顔洗ってくるの。アイスで口の周りがベタベタするから。
She closed the notebook and put it on her lap. Then a piece of paper fell from the notebook. You dropped something. Katori looked as though she hadn't heard and left the dining hall. Hat went after her. As the sound of the wheelchair grew farther away, I let out a big sigh. Maybe I said too much. It's just that I really was worried about her. I don't know anything about what's going on with Katori, so perhaps I was unnecessarily interfering. Wait. Speaking of which, she was wearing her uniform. However, she was wearing her own clothes yesterday when she went to Windmill Hill. Could it be that she was actually planning on going to school? That's possible, isn't it? As I thought of that, I felt my mood lighten a little, and I picked up the piece of paper that she had dropped. Huh? For a moment, I couldn't believe my eyes. It was a notice for withdrawal from the school. Uh-oh. I was depressed while I was cleaning up after dinner, and Kanako came to comfort me. Why? Why did everyone leave so much uneaten?
ちゃんと美味しかったよ。
For tonight's dinner, Kanako was the only one who ate all of her food. Without any exception, everyone else left some uneaten. Tomorrow I'll make even more tasty food, so tasty that no one will leave anything uneaten. I felt renewed determination, and then the duck came waddling into the dining hall.
ハット先輩、ガンチャース。わわ。そっか、お腹空いてんだね。葵くん、なんか食べるものある？
There are some vegetables left
それ
over.
でいいよ。
Kanako took the leftover vegetables and fed them to Hat. Is this duck her pet? Are you allowed to have pets here?
よ。誰のペットでもないよ。私がここに来る前から住み着いてたの。誰がいつどうして持ち込んだのかは不明。だからハット先輩。
So the owner must have been keeping him.
それが違うんだって。いつの間にかいたって言ってたよ。だからペットっていうより同居してる感じかな。
Katori also called him a housemate. It's a mystery. When she had finished feeding Hat, Kaneko got out of her seat.
さてと一っ風呂浴びるか
Don't go walking around in your underwear again, okay?
ななんでよいいじゃん夏なんだし
No.
ケチ
Kaneko gave me a quick insult as she left the dining hall. Why does everyone have to insult me just before they leave? I felt a little hurt as I cleaned the dishes. Peek. This time it was Katori poking her head into the dining hall. It was almost as if she was waiting for Kaneko to leave before she came in. She doesn't seem to get along with her, so maybe she really was waiting for her to leave. Though she might have come to have dinner, but she appeared to be looking for something. She was looking under the table. Oh.
あと邪魔よなが
She went around the table once, and then came past the counter in front of me.
ね紙見なかった
No, I haven't. What kind of paper?
紙は紙よ本当に見てない
Positive? Katori groaned while staring at my face as if she were trying to see if I was telling the truth. With a straight face, I wiped the dishes with a towel. With no way to check, she went to look elsewhere. I'll put your dinner in the fridge, heat it up in the microwave, and eat it later, okay? Couldn't help lying to her. The thing she was looking for was the withdrawal notice that I'd picked up. People were worried that if it carries on like this, she'll stop coming altogether. Looks like she's not really enjoying school. Akeha's words crossed my mind. Looks like Katori really is planning to drop out of school. What am I doing? Why didn't I give the withdrawal notice back to her? There I stood, not even really understanding those feelings myself. Is it the next day? Yes, it is. Alright then. Next day, here we come.